And oh god, I mean, this is the best kind of rock to climb on ever, because the barnacles. Oh my god. I mean, I can't imagine doing it in bare feet unless I had significant callus. But yeah, this is a real benefit. This is kind of cool. Here we go, Joe. How about this one? Boom. This counts as well. Oh, it all counts, doesn't it, Joe? So I don't know. I mean, I know some people like trains, and some people like planes, and some people like bird watching, and you know, I'm not like into lighthouses as much as people are into those other items that you may know, people in your life that have those as, like, you know, stamp collecting hobbies, if you will. But I do like lighthouses primarily because going to them means I'm near the ocean. So I don't know, I suppose it's just one more excuse to like beaches, or to go to beaches. Oh yeah, I love lighthouses. How many of those are inland? 0. Not any of the cool ones, that's for sure. Do you guys, I don't know if you can make this out in the camera, but on the left there is the red buoy, the one closest to us, and then a little further out is the green one. There you go, that's actually a better picture. The one there on the right is red, the one on the left is green. And as we all know, that means that this one right here, the red one, as you're coming back into the harbor, as you are returning, that will be on your right. Red right return. I wonder if growing up in other countries as you boat, is that a global thing? Is red right return global? Let's see, so 11 o'clock, it will be low tide, which means that beauty right down there, that might be above the water line come 11 o'clock. Let me verify the time right now. So it's 10:09, so low tide isn't for another hour and 15 minutes. It's probably about 11:20 or 11:30 actually for low tide here, because it's 11:15 low tide in Hingham. But that's Hingham Bay, I believe, is where they, so out here it's probably, could be a little later, maybe a little earlier. I don't know if you definitely can't see the woman on the stern of that boat, but she's doing her exercises. She's, looks like she's kind of doing a stepping motion. So she seems to, she probably lives there at some point, maybe year round. Probably only in the summer, and probably only for the summers here. But yeah, it's just a great place. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of this view. I'll do some more shots of the lighthouse as we walk back towards it. Here in SCITUATE. Gracie just learned, because I told her that all that white powder that's on those rocks back there is dried up seagull poop. And she says, oh my god, why didn't you tell me? And I was just like, price of enjoyment involves a little dirt every now and then. No big deal. So, walking back. It's just, I don't know, it's just cool hanging out here. I bet you this guy up here with his giant lens is the one who had that lens cover at the end. Good, he retrieved it. Wonder if he's also the one that left his keys on the sign over there. We may end up going up to Gloucester, so so we may have some footage up there from where portions of The Perfect Storm came from. The best movie I can do for you guys around here is if I go over to Cohasset. That was the site of Witches of Eastwick. But it's pretty much the most famous one from around here. There's other ones that have been done in Boston, of course. The Departed was one that I watched recently on Netflix. If you guys have seen that, there's a lot of Boston references, but not much on the South Shore, which is where we're at now. That's what this area is called. Pretty much once you start getting into like, I mean, definitely where we are right now, it's called the South Shore. But Hingham, Cohasset, a little bit of Weymouth. I don't know if Quincy is necessarily considered the South Shore. I suppose living here, I didn't necessarily refer to it. Quincy was more like, that was like on the way to Boston. They did a great job with this. Can you tell how level this is? If I like go down to the, and check that out, right? I believe that this extension I have here, selfie stick if you will. I'm gonna have to, actually all I need to do is WD-40 it, because I've taken this into the salt water several times, so naturally that means the threads of the tightening is worn away, or no, sorry, it's seized up, and the plastic around it is worn away, so therefore I get the drooping GoPro. When I was a kid, we would look at boats like that would, there's quite a nice breeze right now actually, and considering it's blowing literally perpendicular to him, we would absolutely give that guy crap for using his motor on his sailboat, right? I mean, I would hope that once he gets past the jetty here, he at least puts his mainsail up. I'm not expecting the jib, but come on. Although he's doing pretty well there with that motor. Obviously it's inboard, but I think I just heard him turn it off. Actually, no, I think it's still, I see some bubbles on the back there. I think he's still under motor. Wow, that's a pretty quiet one. I'm not a sailboat guy, so, you know, it's not like, if I had that boat, I'd be like, all right, well, how much fuel can we take on? So, I will still give him crap, though. Because it's like, look, dude, you own a sailboat. And that is not an inexpensive sailboat. I would say that's probably about a 43 foot. I don't know what the manufacturer is. I'm not that good anymore. It doesn't look like a Bristol. I don't know. It would be hard. My buddy David, I'm sure, could determine that. I assume you're getting the wind, even though this is GoPro. So that's kind of nice. It's nice and windy out here, actually. So even for me, I would label this as humid. This is one of the, actually, probably the most humid day we've had since we got here. And it's still not as hot and humid as, well, I'll tell you what, when the clouds break and there's direct sun, it's hot. It could arguably be as hot as it was in Thailand where we left. That's a nice little boat. It's probably about a 27 foot. Is it a gray white? It's so hard for me to tell. Plus, there's so many more manufacturers now than when I was a little boy. And there was Boston Whaler, and then there was all the other manufacturers. And that's it. Oh, it's a Sea Ray. Nice. That's a dynamite boat, actually. They make great hulls. He's got a Mercruiser engine on the back there. It doesn't have a huge footprint, but obviously it's got a lot of power. It's kind of cool. Like, I just heard the bing. I think Gracie is live again on Facebook. It's kind of cool. So what's interesting is, and so many of you have asked, I get it, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Boston or Bangkok? And let's be clear, I don't like Boston. I don't like the city. I could never live in New York City, regardless of the borough. I could never live there. It's just not it doesn't feel good to me. Bangkok feels great to me. But I understand what they mean, you know, or what you guys mean. Do you prefer the United States or whatever? Now, again, the United States is enormous. So for people to say, oh my God, Bangkok is so much better than the US, well, that's ridiculous, right? The United States is enormous. And I can also appreciate and understand why many people from the US don't have a passport and just hang out here. Because, I mean, you can do this, right? And I mean, you know, we could also fly to Alaska. We could fly to Florida. We could fly to Hawaii, you know, and you get off the plane and there you go. You're still in America. You get off, you leave the airport in Maui and there's a Costco and there's a Dunkin' Donuts and there's, you know, and it's more humid than it is here. That's about it. But the feeling is different. The smells are different. The people are different. The vibe is different. The energy is different. But I really like, I want to say New England, but specifically I really like the South Shore of Boston, this area right here, in the summers when the weather's like this. And, you know, there are people here on vacation. People who live here are even on vacation. and people that are on vacation come here and they're in a good mood, right? It was like living in Coronado in the summer, like nobody's in a bad mood. Additionally, you know, if you're renting a house in Coronado, then you're pretty affluent because the minimum rent is 1 month. You can't just like stay there for a couple nights in an Airbnb. They really are pretty tight about that. So if you're renting a house in Coronado for the month, you're out, you're committing about 10,000 to 50,000 US dollars a month. So, you know, I would submit your worries are less. And so therefore many people that I interface with in Coronado over the summer are in a good mood, as they are here. And I like that in the communities that I go to. And that's basically the South Shore. That's Scituate, Cohasset, Duxbury, Hingham, and Norwell. That's what I consider sort of the South Shore. And there's many other places down the Cape that are also very nice and much like that. Chatham, where they also have a very cool Lighthouse. Gracie and I have been there before. That's nice to go down there. And during the week, the traffic is not, you know, not horrible. So, but this couple with their tripod that's apparently taking multiple pictures of that lighthouse. And I mean, let's face it, those clouds in the background are quite, I mean, I don't know, I guess you could, I was going to say picturesque, but many people might say, well, they're sort of ominous or depressing, or oh my god, a storm is coming. I don't know, maybe. That's a cool little shot of a plane up there. And what's interesting about this is it's literally just a stationary sort of reflector. There's no speaker up there, so there's no notification, there's no audible notification that you get. And there's no electronics up there, so you're not even going to get any degree of sort of beacon. Now there is a light that is definitely installed in the top of that lighthouse, and I don't know how it's I don't know how they like determine whether to turn it on or not. One could argue, well, when those dark clouds get over it, maybe it should be on. But then you look out here and it's like, oh, no. I mean, you can see for miles, right? And so I don't know, do they have a sensor up there that's got, well, if there's this much blue light, then we'll turn it on. Or is there actually a guy, not physically in the lighthouse, but is there a guy that sort of determines it? Who's a pseudo meteorologist? Those houses are pretty awesome, right? I've always loved this point though. This is really great, and the majority of those houses are built on stilts, or they have a basement that is at ground level, and the basement is one of those deals where it's like, well, if it gets wet here, we can pretty much sacrifice anything that's inside of it. But as you can see, I mean, you're looking at, you know, a pretty big change in tide, and of course that's because it's, you know, pretty far away from the equator. I believe we're at 43, latitude 43. And if you have the desire to really see a tide move quite a bit of distance in a short amount of time, I encourage you to Google or go to YouTube and type in Bay of Fundy, and you will see how quickly the tide changes and how drastically. From our friends up north in Canada. All right, I'm gonna walk back. Talk to you guys again soon. Ciao.